Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Ganja Goddess in the building. Hopefully, everyone is having a beautiful, beautiful New Year's Eve. I know I am. I'm coming to you today because I wanted to talk to you guys. Hold on, let me put this down just a bit. I'm coming to you today because I want to talk to you guys about something a little different. We normally cover Krishan Rock and Blueface and all the madness and mayhem in between. But I want to talk a little bit about Blueface and Krishan, but like in a different aspect. Um I just see things a little differently. Because I definitely heavily I've studied narcissism um and I also experience people. I think we all have, right? It could be anyone, co-worker, parent, husband, wife, children, anyone. It could be your next door neighbor, someone at the grocery store, whatever. But I think we all have experienced a narcissist in our lives at some point. I mean, we all have a little form of narcissism. I mean, that's the kind of thing like at low grade, it's just like, really caring about how you're treated or you know or the way you see yourself, but to a different aspect of it, it can really destroy one person, a person's life. um and it can destroy people around the narcissist as well. But today I really want to look at the mother bond, the mother wound. Sometimes we as mothers don't understand our role completely. Sometimes we don't understand how important our role is to our children. And not only to our children's children and our children's 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 children. Yeah, like that. It's very serious. It's very serious. But before we get into that serious, I just want to know what you guys are smoking on. I need you guys to subscribe because I'm definitely trying to get my channel to where I can go on live and I want to interact with you guys. Tonight I'm smoking on something decent. Smoking cherry pie and I'm enjoying it. It's pretty cool and mellow. It's not too heavy. Um Definitely know it's a hybrid. It's not a heavy indica, so it's definitely a hybrid. But it's definitely cool. I'm enjoying it. Hopefully guys you are rolled up and you're ready to get into this conversation because this is something that lies heavily on my heart. Um I'm not going to get into deep or personal about the way I've experienced NPD, which is narcissistic personality disorder. But yes, been there. Okay, just understand that I get it. But we want to look at the aspect of the mother. The first person, the most important person in your life is definitely your mother. Some may beg to differ and say, "Oh, it's both parents are equally important to the child." And yes, I do believe that fathers are very important in the child's life. But I'm talking about from in the womb to at least age, I would say 10. The most important parent, like if you're in a world where you had to choose whether the child could only have one parent, one or the other, the most important parent is the mother. I don't know why people don't see that, but that's what I see. Because when you are in your mother's womb, you are already connecting with your mother. The emotions that the mother feels, the child feels as well. If mom is, let's say, a person who is unhealed herself, and she has those unhealed emotions and feelings and things of that nature, it's going to transfer to her unborn child. If mom is being abused while she's pregnant, those emotions, those traumas also transfer to the child. If mom is happy, her spirit is bright and light, I definitely believe that transfers over to the unborn baby. But also, what happens when baby gets here? So baby is like a clean slate, right? So baby is looking around for something very important. The first thing baby cares for is nutrition. Baby needs to be fed. And if mother chooses not to feed baby, baby will die via it be breastfeeding or bottle, whatever. Mama needs to feed baby for baby's survival. And baby understands that. Baby understands that he or she relies on the mother to sustain them. So in a point, it's like the baby and the mom mesh, right? The baby and the mom mesh. They're like one. But the to the baby, mom is perfect until mom isn't able to satisfy baby, because that's when baby is at night 3 a.m. in the rising. Maybe mom is really tired and just really sleepy, and baby cries for a little bit, so baby starts to understand, like, hey, something's like going on. Like, I'm upset, I'm crying, and mom isn't here. So baby starts to like understand that baby is different, it's a separate entity than mama. And now that's when baby starts to look to mama and looks for some reference or point of reference of self. And the mother, depending on if the mother is well mentally and emotionally, she will actualize her child. She will glare into her child's eyes and she will acknowledge them. She will spend time with them. She will cuddle them. She will love them. She'll sit with them, sing songs with them, play with them, nurture the child. But what happens when those things don't happen like that? In most cases, the child loses a sense of their self. In most cases. But in the few, some children who are a product of a narcissistic mother are strong willed and they find a way to turn their neglect, their pain into something positive, like alchemy, taking something and transforming it into something else, you know? But not every I honestly feel like not every soul that comes here is as strong, equally as strong as the next. So depending on your light, your frequency and your aura, and I really heavily believes that depends on the womb that you land in, because the mother emits a certain aura, certain light, and she also has a certain density about herself. So if the mother light isn't that bright, I honestly feel like it does contribute to the child. And especially depending on what she does, more importantly, what she does when the child gets here. Okay. So, with that being said, definitely now the child is seeing mom and looking for that nurturing glare, looking for that, you know, it has to be more than just a roof over your head, clothes on your back, food in your mouth. It has to be more than that. So the child is looking for that love, recognition, nurturing, all those things. And if the child doesn't get it, where does that leave the child? Like we said, it's either the child is really strong. I mean, it could be a miracle. It could be maybe a teacher, a uncle, or aunt, somebody who comes in and kind of substitutes, what the child is missing from the mom. And, they can avoid that path. But if there isn't someone to save that child, then the child 9 times out of 10 will have a mother wound. A child of a narcissistic mother, especially a son, because we need to get into the mother-son relationship, because I definitely want to tie that into Blueface and Miss Carlissa. I mean, we all have been talking about it. We all see it. I mean, I feel like we become so desensitized to things. It's like we see what's going on, and I'm just going to speak on it. I just want to talk about what I know about. I'm talking about in the indigenous community, aka the African American community. Um, I think a lot of times, because we now we are, talking about mental health and things like that. But I definitely feel like it has been a brush it under the rug type of thing, brush it away, because we don't talk about that. Or you know if a person's feeling a certain kind of way, we say, suck it up, you good, like keep it moving, you ain't crazy. We don't really deal with the mental health aspect or the emotional health. Sometimes it seems like, especially for the boys, like, they get a punch in the chest and then, like, suck up them tears, be a man type of thing. And I feel like that's where a lot of times where we lose a lot of our indigenous boys, because, we expect them to be the man or act like a man when they really should just be able to go through their simple stages of being a child. Okay. So I definitely want to get back to that mother wound. Okay. So now we're saying baby is not receiving the nurturing, the loving. They receive the bare minimum to keep them alive or keep the appearance of some normalcy in the home. And at that point, the child either becomes dark or light. And usually the son will become dark. They will usually find a hatred in their heart for their mother. So when they find a hatred in their heart for their mother because of the pain that she's put the child through, the child will grow up eventually giving this pain to any other woman or person that they meet, including their own children. Um, the sad part is that it seems like the child, when they're born to the narcissistic mother, is like they're not even given a chance, like a fair shot at life. Because what's life with no emotional intelligence? What's life with not, when you don't feel anything? If you're void and empty on the inside, it's like you're just a hollow vessel, just falling through space. Nothing to grapple onto, nothing to sustain you. And you have all these different bundled up emotions of rage, pain, anger, but you can't give it to your narcissistic mother. And usually why they won't, because mommy trained them. Mommy trained them. I definitely want us to just keep in mind when I'm talking, let's think about Blueface. Let's think about Miss Carlissa. Um, Usually with narcissistic mothers, they definitely, have a hierarchy in their children. They scapegoat one child, have a golden child. I mean, they all go through it, but in different ways. And usually moms with sons, narcissistic mothers, they do have some kind of even if it's not like physical, but there's usually some kind of like sick sexual, or it's just like incestuous ways in the relationship that's weeded into the relationship. Even if it's not physical, it's still like a incestual, like it's an unnatural way between a mother and a son, the way they operate. And I know we've all seen it with Miss Carlissa and Blueface, right? We've definitely seen that. I definitely want to get into this video. It's this one channel that I just love. I have to add her to the stage. Here we go. Okay. All right. So it's Pink Girl Teaches, and I really love her videos. Definitely go over to her page, over to her channel, and subscribe. Make sure you hit all on her subscription because you want to get it all, because she hits so many different levels of narcissism. Whether you agree with the Christianity vibe or not, I mean, I don't adhere to that myself personally, but this goes beyond like, this so-called religious thing. This is deep. This is spiritual. This is a spiritual thing that we're fighting. And we definitely need to listen to this, because when I listen to her speak and break down the relationship between a narcissistic mother and the son and the mother wound, it gives all of Miss Carlissa and Blueface. It really does. So just take a listen. I'm gonna cut in every now and then.
All about emotional healing. Let's get to Mother Dearest. These narcissistic mothers are a trip. They tend to have a son, if they have sons, right? They will have that golden son, her golden child. And it may look like, this child is receiving what the other kids don't get, but make no mistake, it is still abuse. Narcissistic parents in general, they are so detrimental towards their children. The thing about it is, if you are a child or if your parent is a narcissist, right, you are never seen, you're never heard, your needs are never acknowledged, but rather these narcissistic parents, and now we're talking about mother dearest, she looks at her son, her golden child, right, her golden egg, right, because that's how they treat them, like the world can't touch my son and nobody will ever be good enough for my son.
And who does that sound like? Carlissa has two sons, Dre and Blueface. Okay. And she also has a daughter as well, Callie. But you can definitely see between the two sons, Blueface, I mean, in general, and between all three of them, Blueface is her golden child. But Blueface is rebellious. He's not one of those mommy, like some sons to narcissistic mothers, they can't stand up, to their mom. It's like on Super Mario, like you get into Bowser, you know what I'm saying? They're afraid. But on the other hand, there are a few, being that they have lost respect for their mother, have a hatred towards their mother, um, they definitely do act out, and Blueface is one of those. But she definitely chooses Blueface over Dre and Callie. The only reason why she isn't as close to Blueface is because Blueface refuses to have that kind of relationship with her. And he's even said, like, hey, like, mom, like, you're kind of strange, you're weird. Like he's kind of standoffish from her, and because she does have this kind of weird little fetish thing towards her son. And he is definitely the golden child, and we can see it.
And nobody will ever do the kind of things that I do for my son. That's very perverted, first of all.
You
But
see?
they treat them as accessories rather than a person who has their own identity. And the thing about it is, when she has a son who is her golden egg, And you think about the golden egg and how it has to be protected so that it doesn't crack, it doesn't, break, it doesn't fracture. But it's not about the welfare of the child. It may seem as that overbearing and overprotective stance that she has for her son is a positive thing. It's not. All she is doing is grooming him to be her little minion. And once she has this child groomed to act and behave just like she does, now she can go after who she truly hates, women. That would be the women that come into his life. So she gets to continue to perpetuate the cycle of abuse in his life because even though he may be abusive, he was abused by her, the way she groomed him. But she gets
Okay, we're gonna pause it right there. So she has a hatred towards women. And who do we see always be beefing with her sons? Women. Like she will find, of course, should I mean, okay, fine. As a mom, you may have an issue here and there with, maybe your child's partner, but every female that comes in this boy's life, no one is good enough for him. It seems like no one is really good enough for him but her. You get what I'm saying? Like it's like she didn't get certain things in the relationships that she had, and or maybe with his dad or whomever, because she do have three baby daddies. And being that she didn't get the things that she wanted in life from these men, she wants to make sure that weaponizes her son, and to make sure that no other woman that run across his path will ever get the things that she feel like she deserved in life, because she didn't get that. Miss Carlissa is a narcissistic mother, in my opinion. Um, every time she's going at it with Jaden, talking about her body. Definitely have an issue with our girl Krishan. Um, being violent with her and not understanding that I understand that that's your mother, but your mom shouldn't, throw things or put your hands. Like she thinks that she can do anything to people and they should just understand. Like I'm Miss Carl, I'm Blueface mom. Like I should be able to do it. No. That's why she laid hands on you the way she did. See, some of these narcissistic mothers need to get their ass whipped. They really do. Because if you really understood what kind of monsters they are, you would be horrified to find out how these mothers treat their sons and daughters. But we're talking about the sons tonight. Okay? They don't want their sons to have healthy relationships with any woman besides them. It is perverted. It is sick. We're gonna get back into it. Matter of fact, we're gonna look at. I know I got something up here, Miss Carlissa. Let's look at Miss Carlissa real quick. Look at her laid up in bed. Hold up, let me share her too. Let me add her in. We're gonna stop sharing this, and we're gonna share Miss Carlissa real quick. Here we go. I think that's the right thing. No, here we go. There we go. Let's just listen and on Miss Carlissa, and just listen to the way she speaks about her sons, girlfriends, and you'll see.
Was y'all there? If y'all was there, y'all know, because that shit was funny as fuck. Y'all better be at the next one, because I'm going to turn that next one the fuck out. You hear me? Girl, y'all was twerking all behind her. She need.
Now, when she's saying she was twerking all behind her, she's speaking of her son's baby mother, Jayden Alexis. Okay, so basically, Jayden's up there performing. We all know Miss Jayden. Just, she just don't got it. You know what I'm saying? She do her little head shake, whatever that is, but she has no rhythm. I mean, it's just not in her. Okay, you either got it or you don't. She ain't got it. All right. So basically, Miss Carlissa's saying she's up there performing, giving it all she got, Miss Jaden, and she's in the back shaking her granny ass. So she's talking about how she's getting down and everybody's loving what she's doing, but Miss Jaden is just whack.
Even though I was behind her. She thought I was kicked out. Girl, I was kicked in. I was on that motherfucking twerking. Then when she seen all them lights going up and she thought they was going up for her, y'all, I was like, this my dick. This my dick. Oh Lord. Jesus is too fun. That was too much fun. Girl, I thought we was gonna be out there fighting like the Temptations. Bree and Selena was telling me to go up there, go up there. I was like, no, I don't want to like ruin her show. Then all of a sudden the people started yelling for me, so I didn't have no choice, y'all. I had to go pull up, show them what I was working with. So I said, fuck it, I'm going to the next one too. Shit. So I thought we was gonna be on that motherfucker like the Temptations, ripping each other's clothes off and shit.
Okay, enough of her. But you get my drift. Like, you see how she's talking about her grandchildren's mother like she's competition, like she's in a competition, like, oh, I had to show what I was working with and they were calling for me. Nobody is looking for your 50-year-old granny booty. Like, really, sit down, Miss Carlissa. No. I mean, not to say you do look good for your age. Miss Carlissa is a nice looking woman. I'm gonna give that to her. But let's be realistic. Like, no, you had your time. You had Shaq, Daddy Mac, and whoever else back in the day. You said, I was pulling up for you. But the typical 20, 30-year-old, whatever, even 4-year-old is not pulling up for you, Miss Carlissa. No one's checking over there besides that hubby of yours. But you see, like, she's saying she's in the back, everyone's cheering for her. Jayden's really blah, blah, blah. And, she's just the one that everyone's like looking for. And she's in the back, like, yeah, that's my dick. That's my dick. That's my no. The girl is on stage singing, talking about that's my dick. She's talking about your son's dick. And you in the back talking about, nah, that's my dick. That's my dick. Like, it's just always inappropriate. Like, even before, like when Miss Carlissa was like talking about Blueface's dick or whatever, saying like, oh, my husband dick bigger than his. Like, how first of all, how how do you know what your grown son's dick look like? I mean, at some point, you just don't know. You get them potty trained, you help them out as they get a little older. Dad jumps in if dad's around, to help them, put their feet up, stand up, whatever they do. Sometimes as a mom, you're going to have to get in and, do whatever, you bathe them, whatever. But at a certain age, that stop. Okay. And they do they do in the bathroom and they are growing children. How would you know what you're grown? I mean, yes, I know he has his thing out on the, I don't know, maybe she saw it that way. Whatever. But why are you talking about it? I have a son. I don't ever want to talk about that's none of my business anymore. We've bypassed that stage. That is over. That's for his future girlfriends, wife, fiancés, whatever. That's for them to handle. Nothing to do with me anymore. So why is she just always talking about her son's like penis? And it's just be given too much. It's like inappropriate in so many ways. And I just feel like Blueface, I mean, even though we can't stand him because he's just a whole nother idiot. Like, but in a way, sometimes I look at him and I really look at him in the eyes and I'm looking like, This boy is hurt. I feel bad for him. I do feel bad for him because I mean, I don't like what he's doing to our, our girl Krishan, but how did he get like that? I refuse to believe he was born like that. I do believe that children come here pure and innocent. So what happened from birth canal to now? Like something happened. He didn't just start acting like that for no reason.
Gets to live out. And, sometimes it's just abuse by proxy because she tells her son how to treat women, what to expect. She sets the foundation, but they don't have a sense of the children of narcissistic parents. One thing is you're never afforded the opportunity to develop your own sense of self, your own sense of identity. And anybody who is with the golden son does not stand a chance at having any kind of productive or healthy or loving relationship, because number one, he was never loved, he was never taught how to love. And what she has done is conditioned her son, Mother Dearest, this is. She conditions her son on what love is. You see, love is one of those things that we're conditioned, we're taught, or we're conditioned to perceive love a certain way. So when it comes to this Mother Dearest, she's conditioned her son to believe that love equates affection, attention, admiration, and adoration. So when he gets those, which would be narcissistic supply, he thinks it's love because it's looking at things from the standpoint of what can I get from this person. I want their attention. I want their affection. I want their adoration, and I want their admiration. But they don't feed the other person. There's no reciprocity. It's always going to be one side. And so what happens is now these men go off into, they grow and become men. They go off and they begin to be adults and they get into relationship with unsuspecting women. A lot of times, because the mother doesn't allow her son to have any boundaries, they discuss everything about these relationships. She also helps him pick who his partners should be, who he should marry, who he should have kids with, who he should be loyal to, even though
Okay. So that is very true. Narcissistic mothers and their sons do have like some little weird conversations. They talk about the girlfriends or wife or fiance like in a sexual manner. Like they'll bring up, like I've even heard, for instance, like some mother said about her daughter-in-law. I guess she was like, oh well, she had three C-sections, so no wonder she had three C-sections, so no wonder, like, it's not like she had like babies for real. Like what like what she was trying to say is like everything's still intact. Like, and I don't know. It's just like weird, like how some of these moms are. Um Even some of these moms will definitely help pick the girlfriend, the wife, because usually they're trying to find someone who they see as weak because they want to in some way control the spouse also. Usually the narcissistic mother will not like any woman who's empathic, who's a leader, who's strong, who comes from a good background, because that mother knows that person will come in and quickly identify the issues. And as we know, most narcissistic people don't like being held accountable. And these narcissistic mothers don't want to be held accountable for their wrongdoings, which in hand has helped lead their children down a path of destruction. And even though they know that they've done this, they will still sit there and watch their child destroy themselves because of their traumas, and they will just sit back and feel nothing, even though they know they had a hand in it. And it's very diabolical. It's really scary. um Also, I like to mention these moms will also help facilitate their sons cheating. They will also, because usually these narcissistic mothers don't have a moral compass of their own. So they usually tend to be the women, we would say more the gutter snipe women, or the easy chicks, the hoes. A lot of times some of these narcissistic mamas are on the hoe side. Like you see Blueface called out his mother and called her a straight whore on Instagram. I mean, no, on Twitter. Yeah, he was on Twitter and he straight ripped into Miss Carlissa. He talked to her like she was a bitch on the street. No respect. He was like, "How many dicks have you had? You was sucking dick for free." I mean, he went in on his mother. That's just not that right there. For a son to feel like, for a son, I mean, yes, granted, there are some rare cases where some people just are just strange and they act weird for no reason, even though the parents have been good to them. We know those cases. But let's be realistic. We can look at Miss Carlissa and see like there's some things there that obviously something went wrong somewhere. You can definitely tell. And I mean, if you take a look back at her little crew from back in the day, you could definitely tell they thought they was that little hot girl crew running around LA messing with these menses. And, if your sons see that, even your daughters, like they'll lose respect for you. Um, I don't know what happened behind closed doors. But some things we did see, like him saying like she's a whore and like, oh yeah, you mess around with Shaq, but what you get from it, da 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 da. My BM only had one dick, and look what she got. So I mean, he definitely rips into her as well. So let's continue this because she's definitely getting in depth with how deep and just evil this could be.
There's no loyalty, because one thing about loyalty is that if you're in an intimate relationship with someone, if you are married to them, what happens between you is y'all's business. You can't trust somebody outside of your relationship more than the person that you wake up with daily. This is the person you go down to bed with. You go into your most vulnerable states, not just, in your physical state, but in your spiritual state. When you open yourself up and you avail your body to them, that's such an intimate posture, spiritually as well as physically. But these mothers lie on behalf of their sons. They lie and they encourage their sons to not be faithful to anybody by encouraging them to continue to see other people, to continue to tell them, well, you know what, there are other women. And also, because she has groomed him to believe that she is the end all of everything, she becomes the standard. And if a woman is not like the mother, then it's a problem. But even if the woman is like the mother, she's just as narcissistic, then sometimes, and a lot of times, it's a problem because the two narcs are going to clash. The two female narcs are going to.
And also, I want to throw one thing in there as well. A lot of times when you have a son who watches his narcissistic mother as the example of what a woman is in his life, the standard for that, he thinks in his mind all other women are like that. So sometimes he'll see mom, do a little something strange for some change, or let's just say have a few extra uncles come over or something like that. They tend to think maybe most women have those standards, or you know are hoes, but and they tend to lose respect for all other women, which that just facilitates another cycle itself.
To bump heads because it becomes a power trip. But these relationships, they're doomed from the very start. These mothers are incredibly cruel to the women in their son's life. They'll know. I think, just as a woman, for me to sit back and to say that, oh, if my son ever grew up and was playing a bunch of women and I knew each of these women, that I would think it's okay. That's not acceptable. I'm not going to just sit by passively and let him think that that kind of behavior is okay. But they encourage this type of behavior, and in fact, they will have one woman over at the mother's house, and she's, hey sweetie, hey baby, oh my daughter-in-law. They're not married, but she's saying this to give this woman an illusion of what is to come, to future fake her, right? Meanwhile, he's on a date, possibly out of the country with a whole other woman, and she's also clueless. But the mother knows everybody. The mother knows everybody who their sons are involved with, and as far as everybody, the mother is just amazing, and she loves them because that's the part. That's the role that the mother plays.
That role usually ends when the mother runs up into either another narcissist and they're going to clash and kill each other, or the mother runs up into a super empath and the empath can see straight bullshit all over the mama and she ain't going for it. So that's going to create an issue as well.
Is to keep her son's hands clean, to help everybody, feel like he's theirs. But there's something that she gets from this. It's a form of narcissistic supply. She gets, the adoration, the attention, the affection, and the adoration of these women. They're calling her mom. Like, stop. You're not married. It's not your mother. But she also has that whole evil spirit, that whole demonic spirit feeds off the sorrow that she knows these women would experience if they found out the truth about everything. But she encourages her son to continue in these toxic and these non-productive relationships. And what happens is, if he ever decides to, or if she's making a choice of a woman that the mother doesn't like, or if she just doesn't like one of the women in the rotation, right? She does everything in her power that she can to tear this woman down and to tear her apart. God forbid that there are any children that come out of these unions, right? Because the mother's goal is always to divide, to conquer. So for her, she wants her own posse. She wants to have people in her love cult, the narcissistic harem. So she has to tear apart any type of family structure so that it doesn't have the opportunity to become something healthy. And when I say something healthy, no, I'm not including the narcissistic son. We already know that that's a complete write off. But with the mother or the son's girlfriend or wife, and any potential children that they would have together, that's what she wants to tear apart. That's what she wants to tear down. And so she will triangulate the mother with her children. She projects, she smears, and employs all kinds of flying monkeys to make this a stay at the Bates Motel, but it just so happens to be every day in somebody's life. She'll play favorites, and she'll isolate, some of the grandchildren, or she just isolates even the woman, her choice, her object of devaluation, her object of abuse, her target out of her son's girlfriends, right, or her son's.
Okay, we're gonna pause it right there. I just want to throw something in. A lot of times these narcissistic mothers become narcissistic grandmothers. And usually, what a narcissistic mother will do when it comes to her son's children, which would be via her daughter in law, there's usually going to be a difference between the way she treats her son's children, and if she has a daughter, the way she would treat her daughter's children. So that's where you'll have the triangulation come in, where she'll tend to not really have a relationship with her son's children because, oh, deep down inside, she doesn't like the daughter-in-law. Actually, she hates the daughter-in-law. And especially if she can't control or dominate her. So what she'll do is she'll have more of a relationship with her daughter's children, but still not a full healthy relationship. But it will be better than the one she has with her son's children.
Woman, she'll isolate that girl or woman from her family, from her friends, just so that she can groom her. Listen, this is so demonic. It's demons grooming, grooming people to be passed around to other demons, all for their glorification. Listen, when you find out this.
That's the generational curses. That's the whole point of this thing. It's so much more than that one person. It's a legion out here. Okay? It's a legion of I'm not on that devil uh Jesus Christ thing. That's not my thing. I'm very spiritual, and there are all kinds of spirits out here. And for the empaths and the seers who can see, you understand what I'm saying. And we understand that they are able to see our light. These spirits are looking to spawn. Okay? That's what's going on. They're looking to spawn on to healthy or healthier generations and destroy those as well. Especially if in their generation it's just been a on cycle of narcissistic abuse. I mean, going back hundreds of years. I mean, and no one's been able to break the cycle. And then someone comes in the family who sees things differently. That that's a detour. It's a healthy detour that needs to happen, but usually they don't see it that way. Um and the sad part is that a lot of families are destroyed like that. A lot of families are destroyed because it was never meant for the narcissistic mother to produce a healthy son. Be she was never planning on producing a healthy son who could grow to be a healthy man and a healthy husband and father and so forth, and healthy grandfather. That wasn't her mission. Her mission was to keep that spirit that she had inside of her, to keep it going. And she knew that if she raised her son a certain kind of way, that whoever her son would have come in contact with, their life would be hell. I mean, think about Krishan and Blueface. He was with Jayden. Now, do I care for Jayden? No, I do not. I really don't care for her too much. We already know I'm definitely all the way supporting Krishan. She got her ways. She's not perfect, and when she wrong, and we gonna say she wrong. But we're definitely over here with Krishan. So, but still in all, Jaden was with this guy for a very long time, for like what, 13 years? They're like mid-20s. Krishan's a few years old, younger than them. Since high school. This boy was being abused himself, in my opinion. And while he was being groomed, he was able to groom someone else right along with him. And that's I feel that was Jaden. I really do feel that way. I feel like she she probably, I don't know her upbringing too well. I think she was like with her live with her mom, really didn't know her, didn't live with her dad. I think he was locked up most of her life or something like that. But if Miss Carlos is a narcissistic mother, she definitely had a perfect example to watch. And she definitely had the groomer of the groomiest, because he definitely groomed her into, I mean, it's just the way she even responds to him. Like, I noticed when they were at his house and they had tore the house up a little bit, Blueface had said to Jay and something, you trying to get um something like, as basically to the effect that she trying to get wild, she trying to get, she trying to get lit on him. And she was like, no, I'm not doing that, I'm not doing that. Like, you could see, like, there's definitely, some control, a little control there. um I don't know, it's just crazy how the generations and curses just go over and over, and a lot of people don't see them. Um, some people do see them, and it's hard for them to fight. Um, especially if these curses go back hundreds and hundreds of years, and now you have all of this in your plate, and you're like, I'm the one to break all of this. So, yeah, I could definitely see where this is easy for this cycle just to continue.
That somebody is toxic, when you find out that they're lying and cheating, get out. You are never created by God to receive abuse. Abuse is not, it's not in the Bible for us. There's nowhere in the Bible that tells us that we must be abused. And don't allow people to talk to you about submission when they're making it sound like a doormat. Submission is not the same as subjection. Subjection is where you agree to be a doormat, or subjection is where people are made to be handled or treated like a doormat, where people wipe their feet. That is not submission. I want to just say this, that when we consider the concept of submission, it is a biblical principle first. Wives are to submit to their husbands as unto the Lord. So first, she is submitted to God. And if she's submitted to God, there is a certain standard that comes from God that tells her that this is beneath me. If it is beneath you, walk away. It doesn't just stop there, but it tells husbands to love their wives as Christ loved the church. So while
Okay, so I'm gonna pause that there. My interpretation of that is we all have a heart space, and if we have a balanced heart space, you should have a balanced compass, like a moral compass of like, wow, there's a kitten crossing the street. Should I stop or should I just zoom over and kill the kitten? If you have a normal deep, well, we're not even gonna say normal. If you have a righteous moral compass, you might just stop and not kill the kitten. Um, hmm. Another example. Decent moral compass. Yeah, I'm married and I have a family. Should I go out and cheat and do things like that, and risk my family and my husband leave me or my wife leave me and just throw it to the wind? Or, I mean, or should I just do the right thing? If you have a decent moral compass, you'll probably think about your family. And the reason why you probably wouldn't cheat is because you actually have feelings and emotions, and you're not void of feelings and emotions. Um I would think that would come into play with most people, but I used to think that most people had a moral compass. But as you grow and you experience life, you meet new people, you travel, you do different things, you really come to realize that there's some strange individuals roaming these lands out here. And it is definitely wild out here.
The whole task of submission may seem like it is a difficult thing, but the role a man must play to have a submissive wife is to love with the love of Christ, which is a sacrificial life, meaning that he lays down his desires and proclivities. Want you to believe that you must be subjected their well-being. Some unalive themselves because these type of marriages, these type of situations, holding on and trying to prove to somebody that you're better than the other person to be a better catch so that you can be accepted by what, a narcissist, a whole demon. Get out of those things. It's never God's desire for your life to be a doormat. That's not what he came for, what Christ came for. So I just wanted to have this quick conversation with you. It's my sincere hope that you are able to pull something away from this. If it is your first time here, welcome and God bless you. And that is Diesel barking in the background. So I apologize.
Okay, so we're gonna pause it there. Definitely, definitely, please, please, please go over to Pink Girl Teaches. She has some great videos, whether you're spiritual, religious, whatever, no matter what, you're gonna get sent out her videos. Definitely. But I definitely want to tie it back to Blueface. And the question was, is Blueface a narc? In my opinion, yes. And it's a sad thing because when I see how he interacts with his son, I could definitely see how those behaviors are being given to his son. And it's sad because Jayden is left to, it's like she's useless to at this point when it comes to this because she needs help herself personally. I just feel like she needs someone to help pull her out of that situation. So she's drowning, her son's drowning, Blue's already drowned, and Carlissa's just out there with their tentacles just sinking into people. It's time to cut those tentacles by getting help. We all need help, but people who suffer with these personalities disorders, they definitely need someone to talk to. I mean, nowadays, like therapy is like getting veneers, like everybody's getting it, so it's no shame in it. I mean, definitely, it's like some people see it as something, I guess like as a weakness, but I feel like me personally, admitting that you do have issues or you have suffered some traumas and you need help with that, I feel like it takes a strong person to do that, you know. But I definitely see that Blueface has that mother wound when it comes to his mom, and he displays it with anger and pain. That's why he disrespects her the way he does. She has she has no respect for him at all. She sexualizes certain things about him, which is weird and strange. She's very competitive with his love interest, which is weird also. It's just given a bad, incestuous, generational, low vibrational curse that needs to be broken. Hopefully Miss Krishan is gonna break it when it comes to her and baby Junior. Hopefully that doesn't, creep up in her family. because she already got curses she got to break herself from hers. Hopefully, Blueface things doesn't leak over into baby Junior's life. Guys, I'm gonna wrap it up here. I want to wish everyone a happy new year. I wish and send blessings of abundance, love, and peace, but most importantly, joy, happiness, all those beautiful things that you can't buy in the stores, and also some of those things that you can buy in the store, because guess what, we about prosperity as well. All right, guys, I just want you to know I love you. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I definitely want to start going live with you guys, talking about more things, interacting with you guys. But until next time, everyone, I'm out.